Thank you, gentlemen. It's good to know we are beyond Game 5 here on the analyst desk. But breaking this one down here, equalizing at 2-2, Faker comes in. They put him on that Cassidy. There's a lot invested into getting him to the late game.
Yeah, and that's pretty romantic because if we look back at how EDG got here, it was the exact same way. So Faker subbing in, playing the Cassidy. What a power pick to come through as well. Did absolutely fine in lane, then completely took the game over. There's a reason he's transcended even being the best player in the world at the moment. The guy's a god. He's just so good.
Yeah, I totally agree. And when you see him Cassidy zoning the backline, it was really impressive to see because Deft and Faker had this little dance-off where he's going to the right side and Deft is like, I have to stay away from this guy because he just deals so much damage. And the way he zones them into a bundle so that Pawn was forced, for example, at one team fight to go in, I think that's really impressive to see.
I think this was an unprecedented game for EDG. Koro 0, 7, and 3. He was making moves in the early game that we had no idea what he was doing. He's been so solid for them every single game, even their initial loss against SKT. And this one game was very questionable for him. They rely on him to make the engages, to lock people down. Maokai is a good pick against Cassidy, but he just lost his composure, I suppose.
Yeah, living and dying by the sword. We've been complimenting their outright aggression the whole time. They just go a little bit too aggressive, and props to SKT. They make them pay for it.
Well, and that's the thing I want to go into next is this back and forth between who's going to play whose game. And in this game, it seems like SKT was able to dictate the pace. They got that game length that they were looking for.
I feel like that was such a great game by SKT, knowing how to trade off objectives, where EDG was kind of sloppy. We saw in the mid game, or mid to late game, where they went for a tower exchange from top lane for 4 towers in the mid lane, given one of them was an Azir tower. And that just catapulted them, SKT, wide ahead, because before Cassidy was kind of equal, a little bit ahead because he had, I think, 3 or 4, a ridiculous scoreline already, and just catapulted them so far ahead that team fighting was almost impossible against them.
I think a problem with the game started at the draft. When EDG drafted the Corki, it's a super magic damage composition. They don't have a late game to deal with 3 tanks, Alistar, Gnar, and the Gragas, especially Cassidy, who has his shield against magic resist. I feel like that put them in a position where they were thinking to themselves, we need to accelerate this game fast or we are going to get outscaled and lose this game. And they pushed it a little bit too far. You don't need to be that aggressive. Keep a little bit of composure. Be more calculated with the decisions regardless of your draft.
Crumbs, I want to toss us into our replay 24 minutes in to the mid lane. And I think the important thing to note here is that all summoners were available aside from Nunu's Flash and Cassidy's Ignite. So this was a fight that really showed us how these two team comps stacked up, you know, toe-to-toe. We're going to pull that up right now. Crumbs, take it away.
In this replay right now, Cassidy also has his Hourglass completed, and all 5 members of EDG are in the mid lane, and SKT's coming in for the flank. This is a good time for SKT to fight because it's Mega Gnar. So let's roll the clip. And now Gnar is approaching them, the Ezreal ult wisp, but there's a big Gnar ulti here, putting them in position, and immediately EDG Pawn has to use his escape. All the damage is put onto Gnar, and he gets away. They are splitting them up perfectly. This Gragas ult puts Pawn really far out of the fight, so he's a non-factor. He's hitting the tanks right now, while Cassidy on the other side is just dealing with the backline. Cassidy with the armor, with the magic resist, is a really tanky champion to deal with, and Annie and Corki are not enough to take him down. Ezreal eventually gets a 1v1, and then with the resets that Cassidy can get, it's just the mana that you get from your W every time you hit anybody allows you to constantly chase and chase. And you see right here, I think he got 2 double kills around this time that just snowballed Cassidy out of control.
I feel like that was also really great showcasing of the zoning from the tank line. Mara went in, got 2-man ultimate. Doubtedly not the best ultimate because he knocked nobody in, but he put them into the range of the carries. They dealt some DPS. Locked down the Nunu, and then you saw Wolves zoning 2, Gragas zoning 2 and having the exhaust on the carry, and that was just huge in the team fight and opened up for the carries to actually go in and deal DPS.
Yeah, and Wolf's the guy I want to talk about. We've been hitting on supports a little bit more, and he got Alistar, and you just have to say when he has Alistar, he looks better than when he has any other support. The easy execution, the fact that he becomes unkillable, I think that if he can get it again, they're in with a very strong showing.
All right, well, it all comes down to Game 5, where SK Telecom T1 and Edward Gaming will have to leave it all on the Rift if they want to walk away with the winners of the Mid-Season Invitational. Now, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
EDG is on a tear right now, looking for 3 in a row. And Clear Love may be number 2. Eagle Eye Bang heads in for a double kill, maybe even a triple. Is it enough to pull the team back though? Make it on! Throws everybody into the wall. SKT try to get back in the fight. Faker starts to pick up kills, goes Insanias. That's actually going to be a kill over to Bang, and they won't finalize. May go out, and it looks like Deft trying to skirt around the fight, cannot do so. SKT is just able to reposition themselves so fast. We are going to go to a full 5 here in the finals of the midseason Invitational.